It's Halloween Day, and this is resentment of the authoritarian class. The other day, I asked my cashier, is Home Depot forcing you to get vaccinated? She said no. Then she told me this is her new job, and she quit the healthcare profession because they tried forcing her to get the COVID-19 vaccination. She said, it's just too soon to tell the long-term effects of the new vaccine. To my mind, she expressed some distrust of current science, but for her, that trust will be earned with long-term positive experimental results. I thanked her for her past healthcare service, and I said, I'm happy to support Home Depot for giving you the choice. Now, what is going on regarding future employment with some other medical professionals, with some police officers, firefighters, and teachers, with some union workers in the airline and trucking industries? I'm guessing that at least 1/3 of them are feeling tremendous pressure to take the jab or lose their job. These employees aren't stupid or anti-science or anti-vaxxers, and they exhibit little fear of catching the COVID disease. And that's what's really behind the political and corporate mandating of vaccination for all. Our governing and employing class made a decision to rule using fear of catching COVID. It's easy to rule people taught to fear COVID to death, and near impossible to rule those fearing it less. The unvaccinated, by taking a moral stance in defiance of the immoral orders of the governing class, is driving our governors insane. And that moral stand has revealed our governors' true authoritarian nature. It's made our governors rule by mandate, not law. They force unemployment upon the unvaccinated wherever they can. And where able, they let only the vaccinated attend events of social gathering. It is my guess that political pressure will work on all but 10% of the population, as many unvaccinated workers take the jab to feed their families. And that is a reasonable choice given the severity of the punishments. One must pick his battles. But mark my words, the oppressed class of people coerced to act against their better nature will appropriately be filled with resentment, whether they submit to being jabbed or not. Resentment is a very powerful emotion. Resentment arises as an equal and opposite reaction to the coercion used to repress one's freedom of choice. Resentment does its work in hiding. Resentment becomes the mysterious destroyer of cooperative relationships by stealthily working to equalize the relationship between oppressor and oppressed. Our governing classes' overt punishment of the unvaccinated has revealed that they care less about the people they punish and more about the results they intend to achieve. And what they intend to achieve is all people submitting to one rule, their rule. Our governing class knows not what it is doing by breeding resentment in so many people. Our governing class will wake up one day never knowing what hit them. For resentment in the long run takes down the strong and lifts the weak, or come hell or high water, it sinks all boats together. Anyone reflecting on one's youth knows what it feels like opposing parental authority, especially if they've really pushed it. And a teenager yells, I hate you. For Ted, the parent yells, just do it or else. For Ted, the teenager yells, or else what? Are you going to ground me to the house for 2 weeks and flatten the curve? Or will you ground me for years? And the parent, desperate to end the tit for tat argument, says, get to your room. When your dad gets home, we'll figure out your punishment. Every person has an inkling of what slavery feels like, and they hate that feeling. But our young person's slavish feelings are not real because they know that tomorrow is a new day, and they know that their parents are not all-powerful masters with boots to their necks. Parents love their children. Parents don't want to destroy their children's lives. Parents practice restraint. But our governing class, including its minions and corporate sponsors, has lost its patience with the unvaccinated. Our governing class exhibits zero tolerance in the practices and practices no restraint with those resisting their rules. Our governing class wants to narrowly author the lives of all its citizens. From the petty Republican Mayor Bloomberg micromanaging New York City's residents' behavior by taxing sugary soft drinks, to Democratic Mayor de Blasio mandating vaccine passports to attend indoor public events. These governors of people, bite for bite and inch by inch, are using their power to control everything from what we eat to where we congregate. So at best, we might consider our governing class horrible parents who are out of control, inflicting punishments unfit to their children's crime. What has gone wrong in our world? Might the governing class stop treating adults of independent body and mind like children unable to choose for themselves? I doubt it. I believe they push the giant snowball of malevolence downhill, and it's gaining momentum and size. Our cruel governors are committed to long-haul punishments as if their lives depend on it. Come out on top or burn it all down is their attitude. Our founding fathers pledged their lives, their fortunes, their honor when they signed the Declaration of Independence. Our governing class is intentionally destroying the lives of people they rule. Our governing class is not risking their fortunes, but making them grow by leaps and bounds on the backs of the people they pledge to serve. Our governing class possesses no honor as they face no punishment for their crimes. Our governing class is now in opposition to personal independence as they thrive on creating personalities dependent on governmental largesse. Authoritarianism has become a powerful political movement, obsessed with ruling the lives of others. Authoritarian leaders will stop at nothing less than the destitution of unvaccinated workers and their families. They profess a warped sense of justice, claiming it's for the health of all as they punish the unvaccinated into submission. Jab or job, jab or social outcast, such division is meant to separate two classes of people. They make submission to vaccination enticing, leaving only spoils to the unvaccinated. No less an esteemed man than Noam Chomsky has called for the unvaccinated to fend for themselves. By fanning the flames of fear, separating the classes of vaccinated and unvaccinated, our dictators have revealed that their purposes are not benevolent. Their purposes are blatant, to increase their own power and wealth. It is remarkable that the unvaccinated have not submitted to destroying their personal integrity. The resentment of the unvaccinated and their friends is fueling greater protests, which have not risen to raging revolt. And it's these protesters who are practically modeling tolerance and restraint. The struggle to keep one's dignity is enormous, and it should be supported with loud voices speaking of wrongs done. For it is the common man's acquiescence to wrongs perpetrated that ends with the loss of freedom and security for all. For any who understand what's happening, I urge three avenues of nonviolent protest. First, shun businesses forcing vaccination of their employees. Second, shun businesses not giving equal service to vaccinated and unvaccinated alike. And third, patronize businesses giving equal service to all. Talk to employees and employers. Let them know that you support a person's right to choose what they allow into their body. Let them know that you do not support mandated vaccination to participate in normal social activities. Our authoritarian overlords need to stop acting as they do, or they will discover the truth of the parent saying to his bare-bottomed child draped over his knees, "This will hurt me more than it does you." So let me review. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. That law describes the workings of reality. Breaking it is fantasy. So what happens to a person who submits his will to another more powerful than himself? He will do the deed required and show little or no protest. But from then on, the relationship between him and his master is obviously unequal. And that unequal relationship must be rebalanced if it is to become cooperative again. For a person forced to do the bidding of another wants little to do with him till wrongs are mended and forgiven. Things can't be any other way. As resentment grows, it becomes that hidden motivator of destructive behavior directed towards the oppressor. The resentful person is doomed to being uncooperative while biding his time to get even with the one causing him harm. If things continue in the direction they are going, the governing class and its corporate sponsors may force near all to get vaccinated. But by doing so, they deposit resentment in many of their citizens, in many of their employees. Depositing resentment in people is counterproductive, and it is a very stupid thing to do. So in the future, we will look back on these times, and the boss, like the parent, will ask with bewilderment, how could things have gone so wrong? And the employee, like the child, will answer with the sky's grin on his face, I don't know. Who could have seen that coming? Thank you.